Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the club call. I have just ate a delicious Twinkie. You're not eating your Twinkie now, are you?
Why not?
Someone sent us a box of Twinkies.
It's
It's like Zombieland. Unbelievable. I mean, they're not really very good for you, but they do taste deliciously creamy. You creamy little bastard. It's club call, so if you want to give us a call, Premier members, the link is at the top of the screen. Give us a call. There's so much going on. So much going on at Everton. And that's before we talk about Nottingham Forest. There's so much going on at Everton that we want to have a chat about it. We want you to chat to us about it. What are your thoughts on the possibility of Gana being in the squad for Saturday? About Dele moving from the club on loan with probably a permanent deal on the table. And who else? Diaz coming in, possibly, maybe, rumour, who knows? I want to know your thoughts on all of this stuff, so get in touch with us now. You have to be a Premier member. If you're not a Premier member, there's a QR on the screen. You just take your camera on your phone, it'll take you to the link, and there you go. Or there's a link in the description. There you go, all that good stuff. Ned.
Aye, how are we? What's your thoughts on Dele? We spoke about it on Premier, obviously, so if you're a Premier member, you would have got his thoughts yesterday. What's your current thoughts on it?
Sad in terms of the way it could possibly end. I think there was a lot of hope that the lad coming in could maybe get back to some form that he had at Spurs. I'm not 100% sure that he's got much left in the tank. He seems like he's burnt out in a way. Not burnt out physically, more just a bit mentally, I think. We can't seem to find a position for him, and therefore, rather than spending the money that we have to give to Spurs, we might as well get some money and then get on with buying a player. So
I said when we signed him, a few weeks after we signed him, we lost a few games because our defender was shocking. And we didn't get the centre back. There's nothing to do with Dele, but I said to Cam, why the hell have we bought Dele, Alli, lad? What's going on? Just didn't fit into the team, and I thought, well, maybe with Richarlison going, maybe we can, Lampard might change the formation, make him an important player, and build a team around him. He obviously hasn't. When you watch him, it's just a shame what's happened to him. He looks like when he plays and you watch him, he looks like he's about 34 years old, and he's well past it. He's not. He's 26. And he's just, obviously, he looks like he's fallen out of love with footy.
The mad thing is that when he does play, when he's come on in the 2 games, I do think that he does add something to the team.
Its quality's still there,
but to me, it's just that we just can't get him into the game. Right, we've got our first caller. It is Astro. Are you there, mate? I can't hear Astro. Paige.
Hello?
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 Nick, are you there? Because we can't hear you, brother.
Nick sometimes calls in from a different location, and wherever that location is, tends to have dongle dial-up internet. So it may be a connection thing.
He's gone,
He's gone. He's spoken like a true warrior.
Everything he had to say. Everything
he said was right, to be fair.
No, I think it's a tough one, isn't it? But I think ultimately, with the position Everton are in, I don't really think we can afford to bring up to pay the money that for. Oh, we've got Astro. Wait. Hello, Astro. Can you hear us?
Wait, he's got a new link, so let me just pop it in.
He was there. Where is he gone?
He's still there.
But he's gone. But I can't hear him.
Oh.
So yeah, it's we shouldn't be paying the money for him if he's not part of the plans.
And like I said yesterday on Premier, there's no way Tottenham would allow any sort of any deal or contract or any. There's no way Tottenham would have allowed him to go without making sure that the money comes in. So Everton have got to find a way to.
The talk is that if he leaves and Tottenham get 25% of it, which is good for us. I mean, obviously for a player that all we've done is play his wages, then that's a good deal. Have we got him yet, Paige?
No sound.
Okay. Astro, if you're listening, I don't. You're on your phone or something. Your audio keeps on. He's driving.
We're driving.
Yeah, that might be your end, mate. Might be the internet at your end, mate. But I heard you say yo, and then you disappeared. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on there.
Rubbish signal.
So I'll keep my ear out for you. No, it is. I think it's massively disappointing for the player himself. I think for the player himself, this was his. You would say his last chance in the Premier League, unless he goes away, does really well, and then someone else wants to bring him back. And there's always people. But I do find it very, very sad that 4 years ago this lad was playing in a World Cup semi-final, and now he can't make it at Everton.
With teams like PSG, played in a Champions League final, and it's just a shame. I always thought like when Pochettino went back to PSG that maybe he'd reconnect with him.
And do you know what's always sad is? What's sad as well is we always seem to do well out of these kind of deals as well. When players fail at big clubs or perceived bigger clubs, we always seem to take these players and do well with them. We always give them a second chance, and it's normally positive. So it's sad that it hasn't worked out but I don't know if it ever felt like the right fit. I don't know whether Dele is the right fit for Everton or ever has been the right fit. But I think the big problem was Frank Lampard brought him in on the day he came, and I think Frank Lampard might have had an idea how he was going to play him. But I think maybe over the weeks of him being at Everton, he found that the problems at Everton were bigger than he thought.
Yeah.
And that has meant that he'd had to, Dele would be a luxury player, so therefore he'd have to move him to the side rather than playing him. And maybe this season he's come back with the thinking, right, I'll get him into the team this season, but it hasn't happened. And he is a bit of a luxury player, and it's just a real shame that he hasn't got what is needed to play as a central striker in their eyes, because he'd have started both games. I honestly think he should have started both games anyway. I think he's got the experience to play as a striker more than Anthony Gordon is, and then Anthony Gordon could have played, on the left hand side, and maybe Damari Gray would have gone out the side, or Dwight McNeil. But I think it would be a sad ending. But listen, if he goes somewhere else and he goes abroad and he starts enjoying the football again, his football again, because the standard is lower and they know exactly what they want him to play, system they want to play. Because I do actually believe that he could still play in the Premier League in a team that is built around him. But that's becoming less and less these days of having, a team that, I look at like Jesse Lingard, funny enough, for Forest, and they're going to have to do something similar in a way. I still think he's got a bit left in his legs, but they're going to have to play in a way that gets the best out of Lingard.
Yeah.
Now, could Everton do that with Dele? It doesn't seem like they could.
I think the difference with Forest is they've got a player there. They put, paying him a lot of wages, and they're probably looking at him as the difference to keep them up, so they can get him playing like he did at West Ham, because ultimately when he went to West Ham, you could argue he got them into Europe with the extra points he earned him.
100%.
So with the Forest, if they can get the same out of him, that could keep them up. And I think with Dele, I think when he came in, obviously Lampard had only been there literally, not even 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, and Lampard, and you could tell with the first few games Lampard played. I look at that Spurs game especially. Lampard had an idea of how he wanted to play, and then realised after a while that he didn't want to play that. So if Everton had their acts together and got him in early, and he had a game, in January, Frank Lampard, or two, then he could have, or even some time to train with the team, then he could have decided on deadline day, like, we're going to go after a centre-back or whatever, rather than Dele. So, yeah, it's a shame that it hasn't really worked out. I would like to know the real reason why he hasn't played in the first two games, whether it's because he wanted a bit more pace up front, or mobility, or whether it's something to do with how he's been training. I have no idea. So, yeah, it's just a shame that he's 26 and he's talking about going on loan to Besiktas. It's a shame for him. Obviously, he's not going to. I don't think he'll be at the World Cup in November, December, and he's 26 now. So, oh well, we move on. Lampard's obviously talked about getting the right players in and having the right characters in his press conference last week, and maybe he doesn't think Dele's the right sort of character or someone good to have in the dressing room. Maybe he wants
I
hungry.
I don't think he's a. I just don't think. I think you have to move a player on. If he's not, if you have to pay money for a player, we can't afford to have him. If he's at the club, he's going to take up a space wages wise and financially that someone else can take. Everton have got to make that decision. It's better to make that decision now rather than later on. You know what happens in 3 weeks' time if we go, you know what, we don't want this player anymore. It means he'll be sitting there on wages and we won't be buying the player. The decision has been made clearly. And if Everton think that's the right way to go, I think that's good. I think if they make a decision, they've made the decision, and they can use that money and that wages to bring in something that we actually need, which is a centre forward, then that is the right decision. I don't think anyone's going to lose any sleep over it, other than maybe people who've gone out and bought a Dele shirt. I can't imagine there'd be too many of them, but yeah, it's the right thing to do. Don't forget, make sure if you're on Premier to give us a call. This show is much better when you give us a call if you can get through. Yeah,
just let us know how you feel about Dele.
Or anything going on. Anthony Gordon. I mean, Anthony Gordon was the big topic yesterday. 45 million bids rejected. Will Chelsea come back for him? Talk is they want Sahar and they want to bring in Aubameyang and Anthony Gordon.
Tell us if you would sell Gordon.
Yeah, would you sell Gordon?
And if
why?
not, tell us why you wouldn't sell him.
Let us know. I want to know what's going on.
Gary Waters, howdy. Chris says, sorry guys, I haven't been able to call for a few weeks because of work. Hopefully next week I'll finish in time to jump on and give you my usual rambling nonsense. Richard Parr says, good afternoon dudes. Okay. Another day of lots of fuss and bluster without anything actually happening. There'll be stuff going on behind the scenes, I imagine.
Fuss and bluster always comes before something happening. Always. In any walk of life.
Smoke without fire.
Well,
sometimes it's,
I mean, they do have smoke machines, and you'd hope there was no fire.
Yeah.
So what you've just said there is wrong.
A fire in a good way, though.
Is there ever a fire in a good way?
Yeah, like the Doors. Come on, baby, light my fire.
But that's not real fire. That's just a song. That's a word.
Like internal fire. It's a metaphor.
Is it a metaphor?
Yeah, like I get fire in my belly before a
But is that real fire?
It's a metaphorical fire.
It's not though, is it?
A fire could... To be fair, if you got a log burner these days, that could save you some money with the energy bills.
I was waiting until you got to the point where you were going to say keeping people warm is a positive of a fire,
yeah,
but you never really got there. You went straight to the Doors for some reason.
Especially with the price of the energy costs nowadays.
Well, we'll all have fires soon, burning our tellies. Ben Brereton Diaz, we've been linked with him. Obviously, scored a lot of goals last season for Blackburn. Started the season with 2 and 3. Left-sided forward. Scored 22 goals last season, third highest in the Championship. Expected goals 20.01, fourth highest. Shots on target 49, fifth highest in the Championship. Fast breaks 10, fourth highest. Dribbles attempted 129, 10th highest in the Championship. So less than a year left of his contract. Blackburn apparently rejected a £10 million bid from Nice on Tuesday night. Everton have been linked with him today. Interesting one. I think he went up at a level when he started playing for Chile, which was very, very strange, but it happened. He scored goals for them. Interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't comment too much on him because...
Why? Are you his agent?
I've never really... I don't really watch him. We were linked with him last year and I was watching his goals. And he's that, he's quite big, he's powerful,
6
he's
foot
mobile, but he can play out wide as well. He's quite fast. He's very much like when I say like Richarlison or Dennis, as in wide forward.
Yeah,
he can play through the middle. His back to goal play is quite good.
Is it? You seem to know a lot about him for someone that you haven't watched.
Well, I've watched all of his goals when we were linked with him last season.
Okay.
I think it might have been in January we were linked with him. I don't know how long he's got left in his contract, but if they rejected a bid around 10 million, then you might be able to get him for between 10 and 15 if he pushes for a move. Like I said before on the Daily Extra over on Premier, I said last time we were linked with a Blackburn striker. He went to Southampton. He's not really turned up there. He's not really caused any fires.
Okay.
So
right, we've got John on the line. John, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to Dele. Like, for me, when he started going downhill, it was when he lost the Champions League final with Spurs. He seemed to be playing fantastic then.
Yeah.
And then when they lost, his motivation just seemed to sat away from him over years, and I think we got him at a bit of a low ebb. So I am hoping that he can get that motivation back. But what my point would be is that it'd be a decent idea to at least try and get someone in who's won something. It might not have to be Champions League, but it could be someone who's won the Championship or won promotion. I'd always go with I know it's a long stretch, but I'd go with someone like Tony.
Yeah.
Or someone who's just got experience of, putting the ball in the back of the net on the big occasion and not having a massive letdown. So
Yeah.
Huge. It can have such a huge impact on your confidence, can't it?
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, someone who's got something about them who's actually. Yeah, I mean that's what we used to do. With them saying under Moyes, we went looking for the best talents in the Championship, people who've possibly come up, and people who are hungry. I'd say as well, because I think you're absolutely right what you're saying about Dele there. I mean, the desire does seem to have faded away from him, and maybe experiencing the low of losing the Champions League final, and maybe thinking that he would never reach that point again has somewhat killed off his motivation and his energy for playing. So yeah, you want players who are hungry to go to the next level. I'd rather buy a player who was coming up from the Championship who was ready to take that next level against someone like Onana, who 20-year-old lad who's ready to take the next level, rather than going to someone like, we got linked with Harry Winks, I mean, who was on the way down, and maybe that's what Dele was. Unfortunately, he was on his way down. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but it's definitely better to go out trying to look for someone who's hungry and has got something to prove and wants to achieve things.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just think the character of the player needs to be like superb if they're coming down. Because all the players we've had who've been on the way down, like Schneidlin and Delph, they've all been crap really. But if you've got someone who is fantastic, like Gareth Barrett, for instance, he had a fantastic character, didn't he? Really hard worker, experienced head. So it can work, like you say. But unfortunately for him, he just needs to find somewhere else, doesn't he? Different change of scene, maybe, and hopefully he can do better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So for him, it's a shame, and I think for the club, it's a shame. But I think for the club, we just have to move on now.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Yeah, I think for a few years we have been lacking, characters. We said for a few years we've been lacking we've been lacking leaders. We brought that in now. I think we lost some of that hunger, and we lost a good character with Charlison. But we still got players in there like Yerry Mina who are good characters. Iwobi seems to, like the way he speaks about football and how he's improved into Lampard. He seems a good character. But you want those hungry players who will come in and want to prove themselves and got a bit of nationalness about them from lower league clubs, rather than like you mentioned, players who've been signed in the past from bigger clubs who are coming down not really that bothered, because we saw last season we didn't have enough character in our squad to pull us through important games, and ultimately a lot of the time we'd finished.
I know we do talk about like character and stuff, but you know what I'd really like? Some good players.
Yeah.
I know like it's very easy to talk about good characters and leaders and all these kind of words. I'd just like good players. I'd like players who can put the ball in the back of the net. I'd like players who have a desire to win because they're good players. Because see, I think that when people say like we haven't got enough leaders, I think what they're really saying is we haven't got enough good players.
Yeah.
That's what they're really saying. Like that good players are naturally leaders, I think, because their level is wanting to be a winner. Like Ronaldo, right? Ronaldo's a horrible person when he's playing football, right? His desire to win is just, it makes him a leader. At times it can be seen as arrogant and too, like at the weekend when they get beat 4-0 and he just walks off the pitch and he doesn't go over to the fans and that, right? That shouldn't happen. He should always respect the fans, but at the same time, his level of his standards are so high that he's so disgusted with his teammates, even though he was pretty crap as well, is that he becomes naturally a leader. Good players always become leaders. Good players always become captains. I don't believe you can be a good player without being mentally tough and without being a natural leader. I don't think there's been too many players who who are like shy, introvert players who've become amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are examples of these players who just get on the pitch, do their job and get off. But I bet you if you spoke to players who played with them, they'd say, well, in the dressing room, he'd say this or say that. They have an inner drive, and that's what makes them, that's what gives them those characteristics that you look for.
It's desire and hunger, and good players have high standards, and that's why they're good players and they work hard, and they expect that from other players as well. And even not the the most talkative or like players that will be shouting constantly, they lead by example as well. And I think players we've had in the past have led by example, and they're not the most vocal on the pitch. And because we've had a lack of good players that haven't been led by example, then we could say we've been missing characters and leaders for a while. Right, we've got Chris on here. Is this Chris who has made time from work to call?
Paige, can you just do us a favour? You can just turn the caller's volume up a little bit, please. Thank you. Hello, Chris. Hello, Chris. Chris. Oh, put your mic on. It doesn't work without your mic, mate. Chris, where have you gone? Oh, his name's Adam now. Sorry, it's Adam. Sorry, it says on the screen Chris because that's what Paige. Paige is like Anchorman. When you say things, she just repeats them at times. She makes a lovely club called coffee though. Yeah. That has to be said. Adam, are you there, mate?
Yeah, can you fellas hear me?
We can hear you, mate. Go ahead.
Wonderful. I just wanted to kind of look back at the Dele signing initially in January.
Go on, mate.
It was such a full time. I think like where we were and bringing in Dele, it was, at least for me, it was something that gave us a lot of optimism.
Yeah.
Gave me a lot of optimism at a very difficult moment. And I think because of that, and because of where Dele came from and the player that he has been and the player that we know he can be or was, it was so exciting. And it was like, I really wanted Dele to work. I really wanted to come in, work hard, just figure out a role for himself and execute. And I almost feel bad because the 40 million fee and the way in which I think he would have actually gotten more game time last year, and where we are financially now with Richarlison's leaving and Gordon potentially going, that money could be, obviously we don't want to spend any of that money, and I totally understand that, but I think that he probably would have been able to establish himself a lot more and a lot better had he not had that sort of contract, had he been able to come in and just get to work and not worry about having this fee over his head and this fee over Everton's head, having to pay it. So it's just really a shame, and it's a shame to see a player like that, just kind of like with James, going to Qatar or whatever. Seeing Dele Alli go to Turkey at this age, it's just really disappointing. I think that him coming to Everton should have been a really good fit. If you can't make it work under Frank, I don't know who he's going to be able to make it work under. So it's a shame. I guess as far as Gordon's concerned, I'm happy to take 50 million. How many Premier League games? 51, I think you guys said yesterday. I think
so, yeah.
That's just, I'm an American. We have Americans who play, like Brendan Aronson, for example. He'll play, a complete league's worth of seasons of games for Salzburg. He'll play tremendously well in the Champions League, and then he'll make a move to Leeds for 27 million.
Yeah.
If you can get, 51 games at club level for Anthony Gordon for 50 million, you make that deal, and you get as much as you can out of Chelsea. And frankly, Gordon is great. Anthony Gordon is great. Aronson's just better. He's just a better player. He's more clinical. He's faster. He's better on the ball. It's just, and you're looking at that kind of price tag. You can't turn that down, especially with the reinforcements that we need up front. So, anyways, that's
you're right.
What I've got.
Adam, you're absolutely right, mate. I think sometimes, we do get caught up in, you've just mentioned there, you've just said a player that most people go, what? Like, you've just said he's better than Gordon. And we do get fixated by young talent and where they're from, and without actually looking into the forensicness of what they've actually done in terms of games, what they've achieved, how many goals, how many assists. 50 million is a ridiculous amount of money for Anthony Gordon, and if Chelsea are really do offer that, it would be, if any other if Anthony Gordon played for Leeds and Chelsea offered them, Evertonians would be sitting there going, you've got to take the 50 million. You've got to, because he's done nothing in the game. But it's because he's our player and because we have this loyalty to youngsters who and we're terrified of missing out as well.
Right, and I love him. I love him. This isn't coming from a guy
No.
like, bid him off,
Yeah.
forget him, whatever. I love Anthony Gordon. I think he's our most exciting player right now, and that's a shame. And that just goes to show the state of where we are, right? So,
but I to be honest, I don't. In terms of good business, I don't know if Everton were in like any kind of position. I think 50 million for him is good business. It's good business. If Everton can turn that 50 million into 2-3 players that they really, really need, that's good business. And people keep,
because it's a free 50 million, right?
Exactly, and people keep saying Everton need to start being more like a business and working like a business, and people keep on complaining that Everton aren't a business, and yet someone comes and offers 50 million, if they do offer 50 million for a player that has literally done nothing in the game. Let me just say that this is based on what they think he will achieve, not what he has achieved. This is purely speculative on what he'll achieve for the rest of his career. And for anyone to say don't take it without having a real hard think about it, I think is a strange position. I understand there is a motive positions, but £50 million is a lot of money for a player that has done absolutely nothing other than dye his hair. So I think Everton have to have a real think about it.
Another thing. I think you've been a little bit harsh on the haircut.
No, I haven't, mate. It's diabolical. No, it's diabolical. No, it's
let the kid enjoy.
Enjoy what? That is horrendous. That is a horrendous haircut. I'm sorry. I will give him he took the number 10 shirt. Great. The hair, come on, mate.
Everything that Ed Sheeran's done.
You know what it is? It's because he was ginger. It's because he was ginger, and he's gone away from the gingerness. I can't take that as a ginger. I just can't.
That's what it is. You feel like you've been left behind.
He's a national ambassador for the ginger way of life, and he has left it behind. He's left it. Imagine Damian Lewis had done that. Imagine, Dick Winters in Band of Brothers. Imagine if he'd left the ginger cause behind. Oh, he's literally the prince of gingers. We all have posters on our walls, me and Ned and the other ginger fraternity. And Anthony Gordon has basically spat in our faces, and he hasn't even done it with a good haircut.
You guys can't really tell, but I'm part of your fraternity.
There you go. You should feel what we feel then. You know what I mean?
A bit. I kind of understand. I just, he's 20 years old. Let the kid's having a good time.
Yeah,
he's young. He's stupid, like you were saying yesterday. He's young and he's stupid.
Get a Mohican then or something. Do something radical. Don't dye your hair blonde and have it like It's like there's a TV presenter in the UK called Claire Balding. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Don't have your hair like hair. Have it like some. Be cool.
I'd shave it all off.
What do you think about the mullet?
That's that. I mean, listen, the mullet just represents a certain ideology in America that I can't go with. So, I can't be having that. Where are you calling from anyway?
I'm from Philadelphia.
Philly. Man. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and I wasn't able to get down to Baltimore, sadly, just where money was at, and it sucks because it's only like 2 hours away, and I was kind of bummed about it, but I was loving watching you guys enjoy yourselves. Glad you didn't stick around in Baltimore too long. but yeah, no.
We survived. We survived the mean streets of Baltimore, didn't we? You know what I mean? We were there.
I looked after you.
Ned was there. Ned was just walking around. He was just standing on corners.
I was walking back to this pub after the match, and I walked past like a dark corner where you couldn't see this corner, and I just heard like a voice call out going, burger, like selling someone going, you want a burger? Like someone selling burgers in a corner in the dark, and I was like, you're not got a light. Like that could be anything on that barbecue.
I did feel bad for you guys though, because you were so close to the best city in America. You were just 2 hours south.
No, New York,
Philly.
Oh well. Next time, hopefully Everton will play in Philly, and we can come and we can run up those. We tried to trick Ned every time we seen a big step of stairs. We were like, nope. Well, why can I hear Ned? Paige, I can hear Ned.
All right, I don't know what's just happened with the stream, but
something just happened.
Right, I'm a pop off.
I'm gonna blame Adam. Thanks, Adam. See you later, mate. Bye. It might have been Adam.
Can I hear myself now?
No, it's gone now.
I thought it was in my head then.
You thought Ned was in your head?
I was like, how did I hear Ned?
I hear voices in my head. They talk to me. No, you told me that in DC all these steps off Rocky said no, they're not. Rocky was in Philadelphia. There's no Sylvester Stallone statue.
Phila
here.
what? Sorry, Phila what?
Philadelphia.
Okay.
Philly cheesesteak. Yeah, I think the thing with Gordon, it is very much emotional as a business, isn't it? But what I would say is, and I said this on the Toffee TV Premier podcast, which is on Premier this morning. What I would say is, if Everton are at a position now where they have to sell Gordon to bring, and I don't think they are, but because we're being linked with the likes of Diaz, that wouldn't cost us a total amount of money, I don't think. But if they're at a position where they have to sell Gordon to bring players in, then why? Because they were never planning on selling Gordon. They never knew that Chelsea were going to come in. So they got to a situation where, we've got no money, we're going to have to sell Gordon now. Then why have we spent money on players like McNeil, who isn't replacing the goals that we've sold with Richarlison? But I do think we'll get forwards anyway. So it's for Everton now to say, well, we got our plan is Gordon stays because it was our plan anyway, and we bring these forwards in that we're going to get, and we're always planning to get him, and we think they're good enough to get us where we want, what we want to achieve this season. If they think they can sell Gordon and reinvest it into better players to get us even higher up the table this season, then go for it by all means. Then you can say, yeah, good business.
Okay, this is Chris. It's not just Chris.
This
is the real Chris. According to Paige, this is the real
Has
Chris.
he got a blue tick on Twitter?
Hello, real Chris. Are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, real Chris.
I'm actually technically not the real Chris because I'm not the Chris you were expecting.
But you are the real Chris, though.
I'm the real Chris. Oh, mate, I was in the bin. She was like, you were talking to Chris. I was screaming down my mic, and you were saying it was turned off. I didn't know what day it was anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on, Chris.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I was ringing. I didn't know why I've rang up, to be honest, but I thought I'd talk about Andy Gordon, but
go on.
You've just gone over.
No, you talk about whatever you want to talk about.
You give us your opinion.
Right. Well, yesterday, I'm not having a go or calling you out, but I feel like the first time you came on at 2 yesterday, I think you said, I think you were happy. You basically said that obviously Gordon hadn't done much, whatever, get money, and then all of a sudden it changed to ask for 65 million. Right? Yeah. But my only thing is, if you're asking for 65 million, and I agree with you, like you got to try and rinse them, right?
Yeah.
But if we scare them away this window, is he ever going to be worth that again? Because
no, I agree with. I get the point that you're saying. I understand. Get the point. But there was people yesterday saying just accept 40 million for him, just accept 25 million. What I would say is, if you say take 60, Chelsea clearly want Anthony Gordon, right? They're not going to go away by the looks of it. There's talk that the player wants to go. I can't confirm or deny that. Now, if for me, if you've got brains, you take them to 65 and you see where they're willing to stretch to. And if they don't want to pay 65, they might say, well, we'll give you 60 for him. And 60 is a long way from 40, isn't it? It's a long way from 45. So you're absolutely right. This is all based on potential. But if they want him, and Chelsea just don't seem to know what they're doing this summer. They've had 2 or 3 players they've gone after and have lost them late on, and they've lost players to free transfers to other clubs. I'd just be savvy. I'd make them bid against themselves. And I think, listen, the player's going to be there. He's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to go anywhere else, it seems, unless a Manchester City come in for him. But I don't think they've got the brains, Chelsea, to know when to stop bidding. And of course, there's a logical point. It's just that Everton. I think Everton have just got to know what that logical point is, and I think it's not 45 million.
They've got their own machinery now, haven't they? So,
yeah.
But I mean, it's a weird situation. I kind of feel sorry for Gordon because he's probably looking on. I know he's saying don't look on social media, but he probably is, and he's probably seeing everyone saying like cashing on him and stuff. But it's
don't
a weird
go
situation.
on social media then. If you're a footballer, we had this conversation me and Ned before. No, I now believe no footballer should be on social media, and I also believe more than anything, if you are on social media, don't look for your name and don't like posts and don't let people know that you are looking on Twitter to find your opinions. That to me is a mental weakness, and I understand he's young, but as we've just been talking about, like Ronaldo and stuff, be strong and have your own opinions and don't worry about what other people think.
it is a weird one though, because like as much as I love him obviously because he's one of our own, but I've never been so desperate to sell someone, and that seems mad because he's clearly like he's. I'm not saying he's a diamond, but he could be a diamond. But that money's so.
Can I ask you a question? Question? Who do you think was better at this age, him or Ross Barkley?
Barkley.
I think Barkley. I think Barkley was better.
Mate, I would have accepted 10 million for Gordon after that Preston loan. Like,
I know.
I mean, and do you know what else as well? Gordon wouldn't have got into our team 2 years ago. Even like this Gordon right now, like
yeah, absolutely.
Like, even like Kevin Morales, players like that, he would never got in front of them. And even when we had him, we were, you know, I mean, I suppose we were pushing like 7th consistently then, but like even like 3 years ago, I don't think Gordon gets near our team. And now all of a sudden he's 50 million. It just seems insane. It
is absolutely insane, and I don't think people have quite. I think some people, not all people, but I've looked on social media and I don't really see a massive outcry over the player leaving. I was talking to Ned about this a couple of days ago, because Ned, we had this in the summer, and Ned was adamant that he shouldn't leave, and that's fine. I understand that we were slightly in a different place then, but I do. Listen, I might be generalising, but I do think there's a split in the people who want him to leave, who are all the younger generation, to people who are older, like myself, who have seen this before and understand that a lot of these players don't really go on to anything, and we don't really miss them. I was saying earlier, the two players I've really, really been gutted we've lost are Wayne Rooney, obviously, because he was the greatest player on earth. I don't care what anyone says. And he was an Evertonian, and he was hungry, and he was raw, and he was blessed playing our team. And the other player is Joleon Lescott. And the reason why I was so gutted when we lost Joleon Lescott is because that team felt like it was on the verge of something in 2009. And him leaving to go to Manchester City was like a slap in the face that actually our time was over. We could not compete with the Manchester City of the world as they started to hoover up all the talent. And I think it was proved right over the next couple of years, is that once Joleon Lescott started to go, the players that we had were never replaced by better players until maybe around when Martinez come in and bought Lukaku and Barry and stuff. And honestly, when Barkley went, I wasn't asked. When John Stones went, I wasn't asked. When Lukaku went, I wasn't that bothered, because I knew it was time for him to leave. He'd outgrown Everton Football Club. When Fellaini left, I felt the same. I felt like he'd outgrown the football club. But there was something about when Lescott left that it just felt like it was the end of that era under Moyes, that it was never ever going to be that good, depending on how good you thought it was going to be. And they're the only two I've really been that gutted about. So
yeah, I'm the same, really.
You know,
yeah.
So if he goes, if Everton reinvest that money, and obviously that's the big if you reinvest it well, fine, move on. It's another player, do you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens in the next week or so. But obviously we all know we need to bring in some forwards desperately.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with who we've been linked with. Like,
no.
That Brereton Diaz. I mean, I don't know.
He's a squad player, isn't he? He's a squad player. He's not a.
For the price.
But I also think that we have to be a little bit more realistic in what we think we're going to get as fans, because Everton really need to bring in a 12 to 15 goal scorer, and they're not easy to get. So maybe we have to get it. We maybe need someone who's got 8 to 12 goals in them, but we need to get 2 of them at least. I'd say.
If we do sell Gordon, would you maybe, because we got? I mean, we're probably going to need at least 2 wingers, right? But would you go to a 5-3-2 and try to like get 4 forwards in instead?
Yeah,
it looks like we're going to be quite packed in the middle.
Yeah, I think if we get Gana in and we've got Onana and then Iwobi in there, I think that, and Iwobi plays at the tip of a 3, I think that would work. I'm not sold on Dwight McNeil.
No.
Damari Gray is very much hit and miss. So I'd go for another forward, maybe a split striker, or someone plays just off Dom once he's back, and hope that, because the midfield's more packed, you can start really pushing those wing backs as high as they can go, and that be our width. So,
but I like Patterson's crossing, but I'm not sold on Mykolenko in terms of his delivery. And he seems like he can pull like a shot out of the bag every now and again, but maybe that's a chance where Ruben Vinagre, whatever his name is, maybe he can and push or whatnot. But we'll see anyway.
Absolutely.
You know, I'll be happy with 14th this season, which is depressing. But I just want to stabilise going into Burnley more.
100%.
Yeah, we'll get in there, get the commercial deals going and stuff, and then see what we can do going forward. But anyway,
cheers,
listen, I've been a long time lurker and I've never been involved. But
there you go.
Thanks for everything.
That's how easy it is, mate. Thanks, Chris. See you, mate.
See you later.
Good call from Chris there, the real Chris.
Yeah, interesting opinions on Gordon. Everyone's got different opinions, and
if you've got a
different, can't really say anyone's wrong.
If you've got a different opinion, let us know. If you're desperate to keep Anthony Gordon, give us a call and tell us why. We'd love to hear. We're not going to argue with you because your as opinion is as valid as anyone else's. So
and going back to Chris's original question about asking for like 65 million and Chelsea eventually just go away. Then that might be a win-win situation. The club might not want, to sell Gordon.
Well, they've said they don't. They've said they don't want to sell him. So, but that might be a tactic.
Chris says thoughts on Everton putting out a discrimination statement today. The day Gay is potentially doing his medical.
Maybe. I don't think he's got his work permit yet.
Yeah. Everton Viking says people seem to be quickly forgetting Dele coming on Palace is a massive reason we went to
I agree.
That match. And stayed in the Premier League. He was worth signing just for that. Yeah, and hypothetically, he could have said, "Well, we've brought." Don't forget, January to the end of May is a long time in terms of season. We could have brought in, like when Brentford went and got Ericsson, that made a huge difference to their season and propelled them. We could have brought in someone who propelled us higher up the pitch, but in terms of bringing Dele Alli and that he'd made a difference in that. Palace team, and I thought we might see something like that. I think he's better close to a striker, but that game played like a 2 midfielder, and he was like a very much old-fashioned type, partnership. One would stay, one would go, and he looked good in that. But I thought with Richarlison go in and us not replacing him straight away. Certainly when we got to pre-season, I thought they might be looking at Dele to sort of replace his goals and be a bit more of a an important player, but it just hasn't worked out like that. Stuart Lowe says, "Where's Baz?"
Don't know, Aldi.
Making coffee somewhere else. Everton Viking says, I think it's a massive shame because he's a player who can get goals, but I don't think Lampard particularly handled him well. His comments about tough love with Dele indicated to me it wasn't going to work, so get him out, get a decent fee or a loan fee, and work hard on bringing 2 forwards in. Leon Britton says we should go for Sarr or Pedro. It would be a good addition.
It's interesting that because Pedro apparently is going to Newcastle, and we've been linked with Sarr as of Palace, but obviously they've sold
Dennis
to Forest. So would they be prepared to sell both of those players, or is it almost like a race against time for someone to sign one of them and the other one stays? It's a very, very strange position. But we have got Holger. Is that correct? Have we got Holger? Hello, Holger.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, mate.
Hey, hello, guys.
How are you?
Good to see you. I'm fine.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Copenhagen.
Yeah, it's
Denmark.
Right. Bit of nice one.
Yeah. I just think it's a tough decision with Anthony. I would like to see him stay, but I think it comes down to what he really wants to do. I would all.
Oh, have we lost Holger? Hang on, his sound's gone.
Hello?
Yeah, go on, mate. Your sound went off then for a moment. Go on.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay, good. I'll say no player is bigger than the club, and if he has the idea that he's too good and wants to go to Chelsea and try to get a place there, I think then it's just get the right amount of money for him and try to push Chelsea.
Yeah.
But I just never like to see our own homegrown talents go away. I think it means a lot to have some of those players who knows what the city is about and what the club is about, and that's coming from someone who's never actually been in Liverpool. But I just think it means a lot to have those players who just know what it's about.
Yeah.
So I think it's very tough with Gordon.
Yeah, it is. It is a difficult one. It's always hard to sell, your top talents. I suppose it's just got to be what he wants, and because I mean, I'll be honest, if I was a professional footballer and I was 21 and one of the big clubs come in for me, I think I would be very excited by the move, because who knows when that opportunity is ever going to come again, because Chelsea could maybe miss out on him and they could go and buy someone else, and that player then takes his position and he may never get that opportunity again. So once your head's turned, it's really hard. You've got an opportunity to be in the Champions League, but then you have to go back and play for Everton. We spoke about Dele before, and motivation. Would that sap your motivation? So, and it is important. It's always important to have local lads who understand, the team and what the supporters and all that kind of thing. But it has to be the best thing for the team, doesn't it? If he was an unbelievable talent that was pretty irreplaceable, then you wouldn't want to sell him. But I think most Evertonians feel at the moment that he can be replaced for a lot less money, and that is strange, because why were Chelsea buying them, and why are Manchester City Pep Guardiola likes him? I think for me it's because they see him as a bit more of a long-term project, whereas we're looking at the player right now. What do we need? Have we got enough time to wait for him to become the player he's going to become, or maybe become? So it is a really, really difficult one.
Yeah, it's like if I had to choose between thinking with my heart and my brain, it's like, the money we could get for him, if we say we could push Chelsea to like 50 or 60 million, we could get like three or two very good attackers who had guaranteed goals in them. So I think it's just the heart who says that I would like to see him stay, but I suppose if we could get someone like Terrier from Rennes in, or a Brocha, or anybody with that prolific goal scoring record, it would be a good deal, because as you say, Gordon for now is only potential. Yeah, he's not a finished product. So it is a tough one, but I think everybody with a business mind from outside would say it would be good business to sell him on.
Absolutely.
I think even Everton fans now are starting to recognise, that Everton have got financial issues. Certainly over the past couple of years, more people are recognising, all about FFP, and I think more people seem to be putting the business before emotions, and that's completely fair enough. And there is obviously an awful side to it. You want players who play their hearts out. When you've got a young player, it's always exciting. A lot of people wanted Gordon in the team earlier. I'm really excited about him. So, but obviously, right now, Everton's in a situation where we need players. We need goals, and we replace Richarlison's goals. So, and if the money comes in, helps us to do so, then maybe Everton will be looking at getting what they can for him, and getting some players who will come in and bring us goals now. Because I like the first two games we played this season, we haven't looked like scoring at all. So
yeah, I totally agree. It's I was also like, when the first news came out about Gordon to Chelsea, I sat there on my phone and was like, no way. Like I was really like, just piss off. He's not for sale. But I've been giving it some thinking, and I just think let me put it this way. I'm not gonna be sad if he stays, but I'm not gonna be sad if he goes. Because it's been way too many years with bad results, and I would promise you, being a Danish Toffee, it ain't easy. The amount of stick I've got through the years just for supporting Everton. It's been tough, but we keep going.
There you go. They haven't. No one else has got Tommy Gravison. We've got Tommy Gravison. That's the difference.
Yeah, true. Thomas is a big legend. But sometimes it feels like it's me and my dad against the world.
Amazing.
Supporting Everton.
How did your dad start supporting Everton?
My dad actually started supporting Everton when he was young. There was like those bubblegum packs in Denmark, and then you will get like
the cards. that was going to be a really good story.
Oh, I was really excited.
That was a really good story.
I just wanted to know what year it was when his dad started to support Everton. Was it like when Everton were boss?
Has
or
he gone,
Everton were
Paige?
rubbish?
Or
Go on, just start that. Start that story again. Go on.
Yeah, I think it must have been in the 80s or late 70s.
Yeah.
So probably most likely the 80s. The start 80s.
Yeah.
So he knows some of the older guys. I'm a little newer to the game. I'm only 20 years old.
Yeah.
So my time really started late Moyes era and Roberto Martinez era and going forward. Yeah, he has seen some better times than me. I would say.
Good.
Yeah, fair enough though, isn't it? Your dad started supporting us when we were good.
We'll get it. Yeah. We'll get it someday.
Yeah.
We'll get it. We'll get it. Keep the faith.
At least he didn't just start to support on us now. That would be crazy. I'd say you've only got yourself to blame then, to be honest. But
Holger, fantastic to have you on, mate. Make sure you come on again.
Yeah, of course. It was nice to talk to you.
Cheers,
I've
mate.
been watching for a long time. So.
Thanks, mate. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye now.
See you later.
Great call from Holger there in Copenhagen.
Crazy, we've got Premier members in Denmark.
There you go.
I
want one in Greenland.
Really? Yeah.
I'm fascinated by Greenland. I watched the video about it the other day, a travel video. It's like you always think there's nothing there. I think I might want to go.
But lots of greenery.
It's not a lot of snow.
Really? Oh yeah, it's very cold, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe. And Iceland.
Yeah.
Where you would think there's lots of snow.
Yeah, it's volcanic.
Yeah. Why don't they just swap the names around?
Yeah. Maybe that would be confusing though.
Snowland.
And
volcanic land. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. If there's something called volcanic land, then I would be amazed by that.
I wouldn't go.
No. Yeah. You're probably best not.
Yeah.
Probably best.
It's in Dante's Peak too many times.
Yeah,
but I think he got it. He got it nailed on there, didn't he? With the emotional versus his head telling one thing, the heart telling the other. He summed it up perfectly. You want players who, local lads come through the academy, and you want them to be a success story for your own team. But like we said, short term, we haven't got any goals, and we're in a bit of a financial mess, so we need to get some money in the door. Go back to Premier comments.
Go on. No, well, don't put them on it. Don't give us a name.
Right, where was I at? Everton Viking says, can see Dele going to someone like Newcastle and thriving under an attacking manager. Anyways, I hope Idrissa can get done before the weekend. Leon Britton says, hope has more pay chosen us and on his way to Finch Farm. I've no idea. I don't think so. I've not seen any more progress on the more pay stories. Keith Scott says, evening gents. Got to say, I'm actually disappointed at the thought of Adele going.
Have you?
Oh, I think he means Dele.
Of Adele? Are you another anchorman? You say what is in front of you?
Never thought I'd, man. Thought of Dele going. Thought he was going to be a real player that kicked us on. I still think he would have given a regular game time in a number 10 role. Sadly, I don't think Frank Lampard wants to play in a way that fits his style, so we'll be moved on. Rob Davies says, random question, but why do the replica shirts not have the sleeve sponsor on?
Because they were made before we got a shirt. We got a sleeve sponsor.
Can you take your shirt now to get the
Can
box
you take
light?
your shirt?
Can you take your shirt to get the box light?
I believe so. I don't know why you'd want it. I don't know why people would want any sponsor on their shirts. They're dreadful. If I think that I don't know why they look cheap and nasty. I don't know why anyone would want this,
especially when they're huge. I used to get like the Premier League ones on my arm. They were cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I liked them. The old Premier League badge anyway. I used to get that on me. Leon Britton says, and I've heard Broja wants to come to us. Broja, because an Albanian told me how to say his name yesterday. Do you think it's true? And if they need to get him and stop messing about?
Well, Everton have been after him all summer, but the caveat was that it was always going to be late in the market.
Yeah.
Well, Everton need to know for sure. There is talk that Chelsea are going to bring in Aubameyang and maybe Zaha, and I think if they do bring in those two players, then Broja might. I think Zaha would play as a centre forward. I don't see where else he would play in that Chelsea side. I So I think then they might let Brozier go. And we might have to just wait. But can we afford to wait? Can we afford to let games pass us by that we're not scoring in? Because I honestly just don't think this team's got goals in it.
I'd be looking to get someone in now and then pursue with a Brozier deal later in the window if you can. But
I think we need
get
to
someone
bring,
now. Otherwise,
I think we need to bring
risk.
two in. I think, we need to bring in one immediately, and maybe if we wait for Brozier, then so be it. But I think we need someone in for Saturday's game. But I know that probably won't happen now because it's late Wednesday. But to me, I just you're talking about games just passing you by, and the longer that's why Saturday's such an important game, just to win, just to get that first game under your belt. You can't let it keep going on and on and on and on, because with all the media stuff about Frank Lampard and confidence and all the rest of it, it's great going, oh yeah, but we look a good side. You need someone to put the ball in the back of the net.
John says, he's already called in, John. Jez says, talking to a Spurs mate about Dele, we've both convinced that he's not a lazy player, but it's just somehow lost his love or hunger for the game, and has realised this. He's not a thick footballer, so maybe a move abroad to a new culture might provide some inspiration. Either way, we move on, as we always do, day and night and all that. Stuart says, if Gordon, Allen and Dele go, we are surely going to have to get 4 players in at minimum. I imagine they'll be trying to get at least 2 forwards in, because there's not a lot of, there's not a recognised goal scorer in there, and there's no one who really creates a lot of chances. McNeil obviously create, in terms of numbers last season.
An essay over there.
I'm not sure. I'm just wait.
Oh, okay. It feels like that she's writing in a full essay.
Leon says, request a buy or a loan to show us you want him, Brozier. I imagine they'll be trying to get him on a loan with a view to buy. Derek says, any football channels you boys like to watch? I used to love that comedy channel, the Football Republic. It was great. Shame that it was sold. You watch any football channels?
YouTube channels? No, not a one.
Yeah, I just watch.
The only thing I watch is like if we're linked with a player, I go and check out videos. But there's nothing I watch.
Yeah,
I really don't care about football apart from Everton.
Yeah, I barely like watching football.
I barely like watching Everton. I watch lots of YouTube channels about nonsense stuff like films and TV shows and travel. I love travel stuff.
ASMR, and
I don't watch ASMR that much anymore.
Do you know what I like? There's this one, and it's 3 hours long, and it's just Jurassic Park sounds.
Is it?
Just rain with dinosaurs in the background going.
Is it? Dinosaurs weren't invented for Jurassic Park, don't you?
Yeah, I know.
So you can just
but
say
this is based on Jurassic.
Oh,
it's all the samples that we use in Jurassic
Park. But
are
they in Jurassic Park or just in the wild?
They're just in Jurassic Park.
Okay, just innocent dinosaurs within Jurassic Park. Okay, fair play. Yeah. No, I don't watch ASMR that much anymore. But I tend to just watch. I love travel blogs, just people going around the world. Cause boss, I like traveling.
That's amazing.
It's fun, isn't it?
I watched what I did get into when before we went to America. I wanted to think about how we can do vlogs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I watched a guy called Syndicate.
Oh yeah.
And he does vlogs on first class planes. That's really interesting. So
didn't learn much though, did you?
I had a good time watching them.
And I also watch YouTube videos on to teach me how to do things as well.
Yeah, and I like lizards as well. So
you love lizards, but you never went to the lizard place.
Well, the people that I really like, it's their channel, it's their shop. Right. We went there, so.
What kind of name is that?
We've got Jessa.
Is that Josh? Okay.
Josh.
Yeah.
That was a word game, that one. It was guessed.
Right, we got Josh.
Hi there, it is Josh, I can confirm.
Go on, Josh. Where you calling
from?
It's
raining where I am. I'm calling from London. It's chucking it down here, but I just wanted to jump on and say a quick piece.
Go on,
right. I think where we are at the moment, I think it's unrealistic to think from where we finished last season we're going to go to finishing top half or anywhere near it.
Yeah.
But we've got to ask ourselves the question, are we making the right decisions, the same decisions we were asking the board to make, last December?
Yeah.
And I think we are starting to sign the right players. And now I think it's just a matter of trusting the process. And no doubt we're going to lose games, but it's whether or not we as a fan base can come together during those times that is going to be ultimately whether or not we're a success or not. And I think we can do it. I think we can, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
No, you're right. And that's why we're saying about Saturday being so important, because you've got to if you lose games, you have to win games, don't you? You have to make sure you stay competitive, and that's why the transfer window is so annoying in a way, because it doesn't shut till 4 games into the season, I think it is, and that's 4 or 5 games into the season, and there's a League Cup game, and that's the annoying thing. You're still building your squad while you're playing games, and we are missing that thing that wins us games, which is a goal scorer. Of course, Dominic Calvert-Lewin got injured so close to the season, but no, you are right that you have to have a patience that you're going in the right way. But it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like we could be sitting in a month's time going, Everton have won 3 games or 4 games. We got the players in. What were we worried about? But it's hard when you're in the moment, isn't it? When you're actually in the midst of something, you can't see the wood for the trees and stuff. We're being linked with all these players. We're being linked with selling players, and at the moment we're in the real thrust of it, and the season's going on, which complicates it. So in a month's time, we might be sitting here going, "This is all fine," and we've been told to not make any knee-jerk decisions about our feelings about the owner or the board or the manager or the director of football till the transfer window shuts. So yeah, everything's just speculative. Everything's just in the air at the moment. You know what? I'll tell you what.
Knowing our luck, we'll probably win the 2 games before we break up for the World Cup. That's when we'll have the most momentum.
No, but the thing is, though, what really helps is winning games of football. Winning games of football, that just gives you the best feeling in the world, because number one, when a manager needs time, winning a game of football creates the time, and at the same time does the thing that he's been paid to do, which is win games of football. So if Everton had won 1 out of the 2 games now, we'd all be sitting here quite happy. If Everton could win on Saturday and we could get in, say, Gana before that, everyone would be dead happy, because last week, before the Villa game, we were bringing in Onana. We bring Onana in. We bring Cody in. We were bringing Gana in. No one cared about the Chelsea game. We were like, we've lost 1 game, yes, but we're buying him, and everything's dead sound. And then we lose to Villa, and we haven't signed anyone since that. So the last thought in your mind was, well, we got beat by Aston Villa. We just need something to break that up, and that's a win. That's a game of football. That's beating Forest on Saturday. And if we win on Saturday, then time is created. More patience will be given over to the people at the football club, and the more games you win, then there'll be a hell of a lot more patience. So no,
I fully agree. And just to add as a last bit, I think if Chelsea are really going to give us 45 million for Anthony Gordon, I think it's irresponsible not to let him go. I think that's good money for him, and we can do stuff with that money.
Yeah, I listen. I agree. I mean, as I've said, I'd actually try and get more out of them, but I do agree. I think 45 million is a ridiculous amount of money for what we've seen so far. We have not seen a player that looks anywhere near 45 million pounds. So it's a ridiculous amount of money. But I think we can get more out of Chelsea. I think they're stupid enough to give us more. But we'll wait and see.
But then, we got to get them as much as we can.
Yeah,
as much as we can.
Definitely.
Yeah, if 45 million is the most they're willing to pay, then they wouldn't offer. That wouldn't be the first offer.
No, we'll negotiate. There you go.
Awesome. All right. Well,
cheers,
guys,
Josh.
thank you very much.
Thanks, mate.
Take care.
Take it.
See you
nice
soon.
One, mate.
There you go. Josh in London in the rain. It's not really rained here, has it? It's been cloudy.
It's
gone cool,
looks
but
like
it
it's
hasn't
about
rained.
to rain, but it's still
But it looked like it's about to rain for about 24 hours.
Yeah, I feel like I'm back in DC. It's not sunny, but I'm sweating and I can't breathe.
And you're not buying anyone a bottle of water either.
Well, if you want to,
you bought me one.
Bottle of Gatorade. You got Gatorade.
Yeah, I did get Gatorade. I did.
Michael Wood says, "Lads, I'm happy Dele's leaving, so we don't have to pay the fee, and it frees up his wages.
Yeah, that's true.
Get Gana in. Hope Gomez and Gabamin find suitors. I'll also be happy if we get over 50 million for Gordon if he goes, because there isn't anything to prove he will get better. If he is like Rodwell or Lescott, we sold them at their absolute peaks. Frees the money up to act faster on targets we would never dreamed of happening this season or even probably next. Fingers crossed." Chenla says, "I bought a Dele shirt, but that's only because I have the same birthday as him." Oh,
what?
Chenla.
Why would you buy a shirt just because?
Who have I got the same birthday as? I don't even want to know, to be honest. Probably someone terrible.
John Oster, that's who I've got the same birthday as. Like, quite literally born on the same day.
Really, yeah?
Yeah.
19.
Sorry, one more.
19.
What, sorry?
80?
1980.
78?
78.
Yeah, I thought it was. See, I'm a good mate. December the 8th.
What else happened on December the 8th?
John Lennon was shot.
He was.
Everton Viking. I haven't said anyone's a bad player in the dressing room, and I'm not spreading rumours, I can assure you of that. Chen La says, if Chelsea are stupid enough, which they clearly are, I'd sell Gordon, no problem.
There you go. Right, we've got Martin on the line. Yes, the callers are flowing in. Quick as...
Right, lads. Sorry,
Mark.
I'm a bit late.
Go on,
All right,
mate. You're never late.
I've just got home from work. Anyway, what I want to say is, unfortunately, I'm a bit old, and I remember the 80s when we were like frying and beating everybody and Bayern Munich and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you look back at Howard, the sir and the legend he is.
Yeah.
We had to build a team from the back, and we weren't great when he started. And Frank, if you look at Frank now, the signings he's done at the back,
yeah,
you know, with Keane and Cody and that, was stronger. The midfield's taking shape. If Chelsea want to spend silly money, let them spend it.
Yeah.
Players come and go. We will always be forever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And to be fair, if we can get 45, 50 million and go for Diaz, because I rate that lad. He's banging goals left, right and centre last year.
Yeah.
He's banging goals now. He's a big lad. It put Calvert-Lewin under pressure. You know, and I think that's the way forward. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not great being a selling club.
No, everyone's a selling club, though, aren't they?
There's only like 3 teams.
Everyone sells players, don't they?
Yeah, I know. It's annoying, isn't it? Because obviously, you know, 45 million, you know, it's cost us nothing because he's come for the ranks. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And seeing all that on Twitter on Sunday that he's in London and Harrods, and the next thing Chelsea's putting the bids in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get a bit paranoid thinking that's his agents working that one out already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's all I want to say.
Cheers,
really. It's a great show, lad. You know,
thanks, mate.
For ages
and listen, don't apologise for being around in the 80s, mate. I think a lot of Evertonians would have loved to experience those days, mate. I still remember crying because my dad wouldn't take me to Rotterdam. So don't be.
Well, I was about 12 at Rotterdam, but I couldn't go because my author wouldn't let me go to Middlesbrough again. but no, I've seen some great times and I've experienced some highs and obviously some bloody lows as well. Sorry for swearing,
it's
but
all right.
It's great being Evertonian. I love this club through and through. It's just, you know, we'll get back there. We just, you know, leave it with Frank. He's building upright. Start at the back, make them strong to get beat.
Absolutely.
Get your midfield, kicking people like Reezy, then characters, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Paul Bracewell. And, you know, then we got Lineker. Look at Lineker. He went from Leicester to Everton.
Yeah.
And it went to Barca. And he lit up that team that time. I know Andy Gray went and he was really gutted, but he was quality, you know, so... Just trust him. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Just trust him.
That's it. It's gone out the window a bit, hasn't it? Trust. We don't have enough time with the manager to build that bond and build those relationships to have that kind of trust. Football is so reactionary now, and I know that we don't help at times, but it is so reactionary. It would be nice, wouldn't it, to just have a manager in place for 2-3 seasons to let him get.
That's what I'm sick about, Ped. Is just we chop and change too often, and we have had some. I won't swear because I'm on live, but we've had some managers. I've been shaking my head at Sam Allardyce.
Yeah.
What is that about?
I know.
Sam Allardyce. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
Jesus.
What I would say though is, like, Howard Kendall would have been, if we had like social media and stuff. Howard Kendall would have been sacked.
He would have gone. He would have went. He would have went. And, you know, Colin Harvey would have went.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And all them characters, they would have went. And do you remember we got Mike Walker and they won the league on the Norwich and like. You know what I mean? And he went. You know, so this is football. This is us.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
cheers, Mark.
There's people banging on. Take care, lads.
Cheers, mate. Great call.
Mate.
There you go.
Bye.
Interesting comparing
positivity. I like that. I like that though. That is called what people call an Everton Dar. And listen to the positivity in his voice. He's seen it all before, and he's happy with what's going on. He can see the bit, and that's what I was talking about earlier about that thing of like people who've been around, who've been here for a few years, and have seen players come and go. You love football players. As you get older, you still love football players, but you appreciate what they are. Like you almost like when Richarlison went, I was like, you've done what you said you'd do for Everton, and I'm not happy to see you leave, but. You've got to make the next step.
Yeah, I felt like that with Lukaku. I was like 16, 17 when he left, and I I never had that player like I really loved, and he was going to a club I really didn't like. I know I love like I liked Jack Rodwell. I was really young. I like players like Lescott, but then with Lukaku, he was doing all of his work up front, but we were finishing 11th, 12th because we conceded 4 or 5 goals when he scored 2 or 3.
It's funny you mentioned Jack Rodwell, because when he went, I honestly didn't think we got anywhere near enough money for him.
16 million or something.
We got 12 million for
12
him.
million.
But Jordan Henderson had just gone to Liverpool for 20, and I thought we should have got 20.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting how those two careers have worked out. You know, Henderson's won everything, and the other fella's playing in Australia for Sydney FC. But anyway, we've got Derek on the line. Derek, you there, mate? Hello, mate. You okay?
Yeah. Wanted to talk about, really the topic. Gordon and Dele. Yeah. Kind of starting with Gordon. It's a lot of what you've heard today. I just don't think keeping him, if the offer gets as high as like you want it to get, like 55, 60 million, mm-hmm. I don't see a reason to keep him. And I think he used a while ago the example of like Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I think Barkley was better at around Gordon's age than Gordon was now, and we didn't sell Barkley, and I think we lost a whole lot of money by doing so.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't make the same mistake twice. I'd sell Gordon. I think I was hoping, at least personally, the beginning of this season, like a lot of his habits would be different on the field, and they haven't been. So I haven't really seen anything that would suggest that I would keep him if the offer's that high. Now, if they're not going to go any higher than they would now, then I think it might be a different conversation. But you could get a lot of players that would contribute a lot more now that aren't going to be that much older for the money that we would get with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this then: Do you think now that the bid did come in and be rejected, how do you think he like if he does want to leave, like how that must have an effect on him, wouldn't it? You know, how does he pick himself up and just come back and play for little old Everton when he could have been playing in the Champions League?
I mean, that's a great question, and I think at least of what I've seen of, and I could be miles off, but at least what I've seen about, I think Gordon's character right now, I think that could like devastate him.
Yeah.
If he does want to go, but I mean, who knows if those reports are true? But I do think, to your point, that if that were to happen, he does want to go. We keep rejecting offers. He ends up staying. Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of what happened with Barkley.
Yeah, because really, we're looking at this through the prism of Everton having to sell him, but the player himself has to make a decision. And listen, I don't know Anthony Gordon. I don't know what he wants. But the general rule of thought for most young players is that they want to play in the Champions League and they want to get there as fast as they possibly can. They're not interested in sitting around at the football club they're at and waiting for things to happen. They want to go. If they're not seeing any kind of potential in the team they're at, they want to go. I generally only see one player in the last few years who's maybe turned their nose up at people coming in for them, and that's Declan Rice. And I think that's only because maybe he believes, because he's in the England team and he sees West Ham are doing okay. And I do think this will be Declan Rice's last season at West Ham. But he strikes me as the only player I've seen in the last few years who's sort of not really been interested in moving as such. Everybody else, at the first opportunity, has jumped ship to go to a Champions League club, and that just is the way it seems to be now. And I don't think Anthony Gordon would be special in that if he was to leave Everton and go to Chelsea.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think you kind of brought up a similar point earlier of it would be really hard to, like, putting yourself in Andy Gordon's shoes, like it would be really hard to know that Chelsea want you and to not want to make that move just because they are in such a different place than Everton right now. I mean, speaking to Dele, I think very similar to the Gordon situation, it would be a great business move if he does leave. But I mean, I was hopeful that that project would work out. I think people keep bringing up the game at Crystal Palace. I mean, it's hard to look past that.
Let me ask you a question then.
Yeah.
If Dele didn't have this payment over his head, hanging over his head, would you want to keep Dele if that payment wasn't there?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think, similar to like other players that we had, like, we still have Allen, but like Allen, Hummus, players like that, where they're capable of a lot more than what they've shown, and even just the possibility that a fraction of that shines through, yeah, that's just an exciting prospect to have.
Yeah, it is. It's more the idea of what they can do rather than what they have done is always that thing. I think it's always been a big thing with Evertonians, is that when we get something nice, we just want to cling on to it, regardless of what comes in offers. Because this is the reason, and this is the simple reason, is we have zero trust in the people who make decisions at our football club that they will replace the players that we love and have loved for the last 10, 15 years. We simply do not believe, because there is evidence. And until that changes and we see that happen, we have no faith. And trust has to be earned, I believe. And the only way that trust is going to come is that if we do sell someone, we replace them. And the problem is, we are in the same summer where we sold Richarlison and we still haven't replaced them. So it's very difficult, certainly from my point of view, to have any faith in these people until they do what we ask, and that is sell a player and then replace the player. And until I think that happens, we will always have our doubts.
I agree with you. I think I'm in the camp that we never replaced Gana. We tried to, I think, with Gabalman, and it just didn't work out, and that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
I don't think we replaced Lukaku.
No.
I don't even think we tried to replace Lukaku, which was, I don't understand how that's even possible. But I will say, even looking at the last window, we sold Luka Dean, and we replaced him with Mikolenko.
Yeah.
And then we did finally bring in the right back option. I think that we wanted the window before. But, so the signs are kind of there. Yeah. Now the Richarlison thing is a little concerning, that it's kind of back to the old patterns. Yeah. But I think there are signs there a little bit of, we're going to sell a player and bring in one to replace him, maybe.
Yeah, but hopefully. Well, as I said before, I think when we were speaking to Josh, in a couple of weeks we'll find out. In a couple of weeks we'll know if it was a good window. In a couple of weeks we'll have a better idea where we are in terms of wins and how the team's shaping up. And when you're in the midst of it, it's really hard to figure out. Everton might be sitting there in Finch Farm, they've got a plan on the wall, and the plan is all going to plan as such, and in a couple of weeks we'll all go, oh, that was amazing, it all worked like they thought it was going to work. But until we get to that point, we're still a little bit in purgatory at the moment. So we're going to know in 2 weeks tomorrow, we're going to know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think just kind of a positive note here. It's been positive, I think, watching the games, because I think we have played much better. I know some people have thought like it's been a lot of the same from last season, but I thought the first two Premier League games we looked much more organized. We looked much more defensively sound, probably because we have better defenders and better leaders in the back. Yeah. But I think we have looked positive in a lot of circumstances. It's just frustrating that now it seems we got so many other things figured out, and we don't have a striker. Yeah. So I will say I'm not overly worried. I think if, like you're saying, if at the end of 2 weeks from today or 2 weeks from tomorrow, whatever it is, if we don't have a striker in the door, then I'm worried. Yeah. But as of right now, I'm still feeling pretty positive about the season and about the team and about what Frank's doing. Kind of one more quick question, a little off topic, but kind of on topic. Regardless of how we do this season, now if we're like bottom in December, I think that's a little different. But regardless of how we do this season, do you want to see Frank stay the entire season?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. If we see progression and we're going in the right direction, and the buys that him and Kevin Felwell are bringing in are getting us there, and of course they won't get us there straight away, then yeah, because I think we need a period of stability, certainly going into the new stadium. And as long as it's not like, you know, car crash, and as long as we can see a direction, then yeah, no issues at all with Frank Lampard staying and developing himself as a coach, developing his relationship with Kevin Felwell, that trust to take us forward. And as long as the people above them sort of keep their hands off the whole thing, then yeah, I'm fine. I don't really see. Are there issues? Are there things Frank Lampard can get better as a manager? 100%, because he's a young man. He's basically the same age as me, and I'm an idiot. So, you know, he's got to learn. He's got to grow. It's like, you know, going from being being a player is one job. Being a manager and a coach is a completely different job. But of course, you take a certain amount of the skill set and experience from being a player. But he's only like 2 or 3 years into being a coach, and it does take time. It takes experience. You learn from setbacks. He's already learned lots from what happened last season. So let's get behind him. There will be missteps, of course, but as long as we're going in the right direction, then I'm okay with Frank Lampard.
Yeah, ultimately, for a manager to be sacked, you have to lose games, and I don't want Everton to lose any games. I want to see Everton to do well. I'm not really asked about. I will be asked if, you know, some certain managers, especially last season, were in charge of Everton. But ultimately, I don't really care who manages Everton. I just want to see Everton do well.
He's a good fit as well. He's like, you know, media savvy, young, up and coming. Had a great football career.
Got a big coaching staff.
You know, he's got good people around him, and as long as they're going in the right direction, I think that will, you know, turn this media narrative that he's a terrible coach or terrible manager, get those naysayers to start, you know, having to eat their words. Then that's good for Everton Football Club, and let's hope he takes us forward.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I think stability, number one, is the number one thing I want. I want stability. I do think a lot of Frank's moves have been positive. Like you said, like huge coaching staff. Guys are like recognize the name of. I haven't followed the sport for that long. Like that's exciting. Like you said, I think he gets the club. He gets the fans. He knows what we want. I enjoy listening to like the press conferences and stuff now. Like that's exciting. And I think he does have a bad reputation for absolutely no reason. You know, like at Derby, he did a great job with what he had. At Chelsea, he did a good job under the worst circumstances Chelsea have had in how long. Yeah. And he still, you know, kind of exceeded the expectations. So, I don't know. I'm Frank all the way right now, at least at the moment. I think, Ned, like you said, until we start losing a ton of games, then I can be swayed. But all right, guys, you got a lot in the waiting room, so I'll take off.
Cheers, mate.
Have a great day, guys.
There you go. Paige, how many people have we got waiting?
We've got 3, but one is not put the name to.
All right, we'll have to get through these.
Paul is next.
Go on quickly. Go on, Paul. Don't allow any more in the waiting room, please.
Gents, you all right?
Go on, mate. Hi, Paul.
Yeah, right. Just wondered, I've logged on about half an hour ago, so forgive me if you've already talked about this. So what are your thoughts on the club's emails and statements to fans about persistent standing at Goodison?
It's bollocks. It's absolutely bollocks, right? I am sick to death of this bollocks from the football club. Funny enough, I'd spoke to a Forest fan before for the opposition preview, and me and the guy who I spoke with, Greg, we met in Dortmund. We went on the yellow wall, and he's a big advocate of the atmosphere of Forest, and we were talking. He helped organise it all, and we were talking about that, and we were talking about safe standing and getting out of Forest. Everton had the opportunity to bring rail seating into Goodison Park. They should have done it this season. I don't care what the excuses are. I'm not interested. I don't care how much money it cost. They built the lounges at Goodison Park knowing that we were leaving in 2 seasons. So they're just talking utter bollocks. And don't get me wrong, right? They might be saying it just because they've got to say it. But why didn't they put rail seating in on the Gladys Street this year and have it for 2 seasons, and then they could have literally ripped that seating out and put it into the new ground and said, this is the thing we're taking from Goodison Park to the new ground. It would have been something that would have crossed over both grounds, and they didn't, and that's up to them. But in my I think that's a massive mistake, because for me, you can't put a price on atmosphere, and standing at Goodison and in the Gladys Street made a huge difference last season. We kept Everton Football Club up. I don't care what anyone says. You ask any of those players who played in those games at the end of the season, you ask Frank Lampard, we as a fan base kept Everton Football Club in the Premier League, and how much money did we save? How much reputation did we save? How much face did we save? And I just think they've got it completely wrong. Now, I might be making more of it than needs to. It might just be paying lip service. But I tell you what, if they start going around the Gladys Street asking people to sit down, there'll be a short, sharp answer to them straight away.
Everybody comes up, so they can't ban everyone, can they?
No. Go on, mate.
Well, don't know about you guys. I've obviously first game of the season at Chelsea. It was your season to Golden Gladys Street, like me. There was a couple that was standing just at the top of the stairs, kept looking round, and I thought, he's going to ask somebody to sit down here. But the whole game didn't say a word to anybody. No. Everybody was stood for the whole game. Start of last season, that didn't happen.
No.
And we started, doing quite badly. So I totally agree with you. The fact that we were on our feet every single game for the full 90 minutes just did it.
It's unpoliceable. But also, I'll be honest, right? It's hard to stand up for 90 minutes, isn't it? Especially when you're getting on a little bit. And my back kills me when I stand up for a while. You've got people who are older than me in the Gladys Street. You've got people with ailments and stuff like that.
My car absolutely shredded on that. The day afterwards, I absolutely shredded.
Exactly.
I come home from the Isle of Man, obviously.
Yeah.
So I've been walking around all day Saturday.
You walk everywhere anyway.
There is that as well. But my legs are absolutely shot. I've got my dad, who's in his 60s.
Yeah.
Every time there was players gone down injured and stuff, he sat himself down.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I do. Every time there's a break in play, I sit down. But the point being is that with rail seating, and I've just seen that the rail seating we've got in the Premier League, by the way, is crap. It's not proper rail seating. But QPR have put proper rail seating in, the stuff you find in Germany, and that's what Everton should have put in this seat. Something where at least you can lean on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's it's so. I get that we're only at Goodison for 2 more years, but we could have had this little bit of a crossover so people understand. Because let's be honest, right? People will be going into the new stadium and they'll be going in there blind. There will be 5,000-6,000 seats or rail standing seats. How do people know whether they're going to like it or not? How are people going to understand whether they want to go or not? There's people like my missus who are like, I don't want to stand in games. And I'm like, well, I don't actually mind it. How are you ever going to know if you enjoy standing up with rail seating if you've not had an experience of it? And there's no way on earth you can police the Gladys Street. But the other side of it is, what if, like the Premier League say, you can't stand up? There's no way the Gladys Streets are going to sit down because the Premier League told us to. So if we'd applied for rail seating, then people could have stood up and it would have been legal. It would have been no issues. No one could have told us. And I just think the club have got it massively wrong. Now, the club might turn around to me and say, well, structurally, we would have needed to have done this and we would have needed to have done that. I don't care. I don't want your excuses. You had an opportunity to do something and you did not do it. You had lots of time to look into the pros and cons of it, and you've decided it's a con. I'm a fan. I believe it's a pro, and there you go.
They could have the ratio's 1-to-1, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
it makes no difference.
Take any tickets.
Go on, Paul. Sorry.
No, I was going to say because somebody said to me about, it'll probably be about the money, and I thought there's no way it's about the money. You're not telling me the amount of money we've wasted on managers, players, paying people off over the year wouldn't have, for the fact that we kept them in the Premier League for this year, that saved them millions of pounds. It would be absolute pittance compared to
of course it would. Of course it would, and it wouldn't have. Listen, I know there's all other things where the people will be like, "Well, I'm not standing for the whole of the game," or "I'm not." Or listen, they might tell us that the roof's too low or whatever. I don't know. There might be they'll probably come out and say there's lots of reasons. Well, all right, fair enough, there might be reasons, but we're standing up for the whole of the season, I imagine. You know, that's just the way it is, because ultimately fans enjoy standing, fans enjoy the atmosphere, and fans think it correlates to results, which it did. So it ain't going to stop anytime soon, and it's going to take some brave stewards or coppers to stop it happening as well.
Yeah, I mean, it does come down as well into communication with the club, because if there is a reason specifically why they can't do it, why don't they come out and just say, we can't do it because of this? At least then everybody can understand why they're doing it. Just seems fit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
cheers, Paul. Thanks, mate. Great call. See you soon, mate. See you later. Who's next? Paige, let's rattle through. Go on, Brian's on. Is it normal Brian? What? Who's normal Brian? What's?
Are you saying who's?
Okay. Oh, Brian.
Is there an abnormal Brian?
Is it abnormal Brian?
We have a Brian.
Someone who doesn't eat deer or reindeer.
I don't know.
Is he on? Where is he? Where's Brian? Brian, are you there? Hello, Brian.
Tell you who's got good rail seating? Spurs, and it's in the away end.
You haven't though. It's not the proper rail seating.
I like it.
It's not the proper.
Sit down if you want to.
It's not the proper rail. It's not proper rail
like
seating.
Proper.
It's not proper rail seating. That is not rail seating. That is just normal seats with a thing in front. That's not rail seating.
You mean like the one on that video that Baz done, and it was just like.
Yeah, that's proper rail seating. Is Brian there?
He is here, but
can't hear him. No, can't hear him. Can't hear him.
Oh, Brian.
Oh, Brian, I can't hear you. It's not proper. That's not proper rail seating. Proper rail seating is what they have in Germany. It's what they have at Shrewsbury. It's what QPR have got now. It's proper in a row. It's a seat, a metal seat that can be screwed in. That's proper rail seating. The one we've got in this country is not rail seating. It's a crappy hybrid, which we shouldn't have. We should have the proper stuff, which makes it a full terrace. Because when the seat can go down on its own, that's not rail seating. That's dangerous. Because people can stand on the seat then and stuff like that. Proper rail seating makes it a terrace. And the seats don't fall back down. You can lock them in place. Is Brian there?
yeah,
But we can't hear him. Kick him. You have to kick him then. Honestly, we haven't got time. Sorry, Bri. I want to get home tonight. Who's next?
that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Right, that's it. Sorry, Bri, mate. We couldn't hear you, mate. Sorry. Right, any more comments? Last minute comments?
There was loads and
don't
loads.
do
I'll
loads. Just do
pick
last
a
minute
couple
comments.
out. Trey, nice one for the beef jerky. Trey's in the comments. Wish I could call in, but work gets in the way. Regarding Gordon, Dele, I hope the best out of every player wearing an Everton kit in the end. But it's the shirt, not the player, we have to prioritise.
There you go.
Absolutely.
We'll leave it there because it is nearly 20-7 and I want to go home.
Yeah.
I've been here all day with Paige and Ned, and I'm the adult apparently. I'm the adult and it's that scary. I don't like being the adult, Paige. There you go. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow on YouTube at 1:30 with a daily live extra. If you want to be a Premier member, Toffee TV Premier member, the link in the description. It'll be on the screen when we finish as well. Lots of you beautiful people are getting involved. You get daily exclusive videos. You get everything as a podcast. You get discounts for all our stuff in our shop as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful community. It's a beautiful, beautiful community. Get involved. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.